Hey folks, this is the Views Expressed live right here on freeamericaradio.us and wakingupthemasses.com. Broadcasting live on 1610 AM throughout the Chickamauga, Georgia area. How y'all doing today on this 27th of March 2014? It takes a little while for the squirrels to work to get me on the network here, so that's why I'm a minute or two late. So how y'all doing? Good. Free America Radio at USA.com is the email address if you want to email me. Over in the Spreaker chat, we have Nick Tucker, host of Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on distortedreality.podbean.com. New show coming up for him soon. Go to Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. Check it out. There's a lot going on, but where do I begin? I want to say a couple of things before I head up into the show here and give you all the information you need to hopefully make assessments and judge for yourself what's going on around the world. First of all, there are people on my Facebook page that who go to my Facebook page who I don't think they really understand the stuff that I put up there on Free America Radio. I've seen some comments, not a whole lot, but some comments that just, I don't know what they're smoking. Okay? I really don't, honestly. I'm at the point now where I look at people like that and just say, well, either they're trolls or they don't know how to take the pipe out of their hand. Okay, some, not all. I mean, you guys haven't probably noticed it or anything, but I did, and it hasn't happened recently, so I don't know if they finally got a clue or what. I don't know. But when I first got on air a couple of years ago and started putting all this together and all that, I got a lot of people like that, and then I realized just how people were waking up to what was going on around them. And I found that the more that you put the truth out here, and here's my point, the more that you put the truth out with the facts out in front of people, the more that the detractors and the naysayers and all that will just look at you and walk away. You know why? Because they don't like truth or facts. They like convenient lies is what they want. So, but I found that to be true. And also, these people who say they're awakened and enlightened and all that, but support people that support quote unquote candidates for president who you ask them a question and they're just like, who, what, where, what? I don't know. And that's not, I'm not bagging on just one candidate. I mean, there's a lot of them out there like that. So, but, I'm the type of guy, Mama didn't raise no fool. I'm the type of guy that just wants to hear what these people have to say. So I may have a 2016 presidential candidate on my show, and I'm going to nail some questions. I ask them all the pertinent questions, how'd you get into the race and, what was the platform, all that kind of stuff. But then I'm going to nail him with a few questions, and I'm going to see where he goes from there. He may not want to be on the show anymore, but I don't know. So anyway, hey, Mr. Nick Tucker in the Spreaker chat, how you doing? Let me know when you got a show up, and I'll go ahead and post it on the website. So anyway, we're going to take a little break here, just a little one, about a minute and a half. freeamericaradio.us, freeamericaradio at USA.com. Want to know what's happening all around us? You do? Great! Come check out the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Have a nice trip. See you next fall. Attending their daughter's wedding in South Africa promised to be a vacation of a lifetime. But first, they had to face the treacherous gauntlet known as modern-day travel. Waiting for them on the other side of the world are an honest-to-goodness safari with amorous lions and elephants with anger issues, a life-affirming visit to a South African school, and an anxious bride and groom standing patiently at the airport with a sign that reads, "What took you so long?" The answers lie within the pages of Please Hold Thumbs, a not-so-round trip to South Africa, a true tale of turbulence and triumph from Travel Mug Scott Cherney, author of Red Asphalt. Available at Amazon.com in paperback and on the Kindle.
This is Michael Vera with Late Night in the Midlands, and you're listening to the Views Expressed live with your host, Reverend Wayne Pierce, on the Free America Radio Network.
Hey, welcome to the Views Expressed right here for the 27th of March, 2014. How are ya? This is the Free America Radio Network. This is also the Views Expressed live. Sometimes I have podcasts. That's why I put live there. I'm your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Hey, got as soon as I work out all the details, who knows? Someone may be co-hosting, or not co-hosting, I shouldn't say that. It's guest hosting after I work out all the details. You know, when you do this for every day, 5 days a week, you tend to want to take a little time off, other than being sicker than a dog last week. Well, actually, I had a sinus infection that put me down, and I could not do the show because I'd be going, it's just, that kind of thing. I don't want to get gross, but you know how it is. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to take the whole week off. I put a couple of things on, in the podcast at the end of the week, but, tried to bear through it. So I'm glad I'm back, but every so often I need to just take, a day, You guys don't miss me for a day, I don't think. But I'd like to keep the show going, so I may have a guest host. I don't know. I got to work out the details. Just one of them things. Go to freeamericaradio.us for more details on how you can help the Free America Radio Network get to the next level, and how you can be a part of the Free America Radio Network website. You got a blog, you got a show, you got articles you write, you got information you want to share. Hey, send that along. I'll post it on the freeamericaradio.us website. And, hey, before we get into the show, I want to say thank you to Mr. Bob Brutus for bringing the Views Expressed live over to wakingupthemasses.com. Go check out his show. You want to talk about some informative discussions. Kicking the Capstone with your host, Bob Brutus. Very, very informative. Check it out. Also, Brian Lang with Live Truth Radio right there on Waking Up the Masses. Check them out. Awesome. Hello to everybody in Chickamauga, Georgia, listening to me on 1610 AM, micro broadcasting throughout that area. So, anyway, it's Thursday, folks, okay? It's Thursday. What can I say? Let's go over to Free America Radio on Facebook, if you would, please. WND, World Net Daily, I believe is what it is. And they say a wave of lawmaker arrests. They're all Democrats. Remember your history lessons about Hitler, how he took most of his cabinet and had them killed? How he had them arrested and charged with trumped up charges. Remember that? You don't? Yeah, I suggest you go check out history. Yes. You know, says here, wave of lawmaker arrests. They're all Democrats. Kathy Shadle, I believe is her name. Thank you, Kathy. Over at WND.com. More than a dozen recent cases of criminal charges or investigations against elected officials, including a rash of arrests in just the past couple of days, have one major thing in common. They're all Democrats. And in many instances, establishment media seems loath to report the fact. Let me read. Folks, let me interject this. It doesn't matter. There is no left-right. There isn't. There is no left-right. You just want to continue to believe that false paradigm? You go right ahead and do that. There is no left-right. Okay, it's all one and the same. They're just taking their own people, and the ones that are not, let's just say, playing along, playing by the rules, balking against the system. Yeah, they're just arresting their own is what they're doing. They're all Democrats, and in many instances, establishment media seems loath to report that fact. On his nationally syndicated radio show today, Rush Limbaugh recounted a number of the cases, including a gun trafficking charges brought today against California State Senator Leland Yee. Limbaugh pointed out that Yee, quote, was among the most vocal anti-Second Amendment Democrats in the country, unquote. Quote, this guy wanted to eliminate it. He didn't want you to have any guns, and here he is indicted for trafficking in military-grade weapons, unquote, Limbaugh said, caught with his hands in the cookie jar. Leland Yee. Limbaugh recalled that in 2011, Yee unsuccessfully tried to organize a boycott of his show after he mocked the president of China. Yee is the third Democrat California state senator recently tied to corruption charges. Earlier this year, Ron Calderon was indicted for bribery, and Roderick Wright was convicted of perjury and voter fraud. Quote, folks, the FBI is up to something, said Limbaugh. The FBI is raiding and arresting Democrats all over this country. It's incredible, unquote. The new Democratic mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina, Patrick Cannon, was arrested Wednesday by the FBI and accused of accepting tens of thousands of dollars in bribes. A historian told the Charlotte Observer that, quote, such corruption charges are unprecedented in the city's history, unquote. The paper described the FBI investigation into Cannon's activities as, quote, an American hustle type operation, unquote. Cannon faces up to 50 years in prison and $1.5 million in fines if convicted on all charges. Now, how do they determine that? You go to jail for 50 years and have to pay $1.5 million in fines? How do they calculate that? Well, by the way, you just got to remember that it's the prison industrial complex. They want people in prison so they can drive down wages. Go look it up. Startpage.com. Ray Nagin, the controversial mayor of New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, was recently found guilty on 20 counts of accepting bribes and other charges. Other former Democratic mayors charged with or convicted of serious crimes include Tony Mack of Trenton, New Jersey, San Diego's Bob Filner, Kwame Kilpatrick of Detroit, and Larry Langford of Birmingham, Alabama. Meanwhile, the offices of Democratic New York State Assemblyman William Scarborough were raided Wednesday, and Democratic State Senators John Sampson and Malcolm Smith were indicted on federal corruption charges. In Rhode Island, House Speaker Gordon Fox resigned after his office was raided this week as part of a joint investigation of the IRS, the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and state police. Busy FBI. Limbaugh said he was fascinated by, quote, all this FBI stuff, unquote. Quote, these investigations that they've been engaged in have been going on for years, unquote. He observed, quote, it's like they've been doing this for years under the cover of darkness and everything else in a way that is perhaps saving the country, unquote. Limbaugh speculated that the Democratic Party itself was behind this rash of stings in order to, quote, take out all their bad apples before the next election, unquote. He asked, quote, it really is hard to believe that the FBI would be working against the wishes of the Obama regime, isn't it? Unquote. The radio host played an audio montage of establishment reports on the arrest in which none of the reporters mentioned that the accused were members of the Democratic Party. Interesting little tidbit of information there. They were all Democrats. Hello, take out their own kind so there won't be any dissent in the ranks. Because as you know, if you look behind these people, other than the ones that were caught with bribery and all that, I mean, these people are bad apples. They want to get the bad apples out of the way so that people will not see how completely corrupted this whole system is. I'm not just going to pinpoint the Republicans, Democrats, Independents. No. The whole system is corrupt, folks. It's going to fall apart. It's going to collapse. And you, the taxpayer, are going to be left holding the bag with no money in it and no way to take care of yourself. I mean, think about it. Think about that for a minute, folks. Okay? It's interesting to see how all of this is playing out in the media. You know, myself, Nick Tucker, a few other people in the alternative media, Pete Santilli, I can only speak for myself. I see from my perspective how this is playing out in the media. Not very well, because the state-run media, the CIA-infiltrated state-run media, is never going to tell you the truth ever. And if they allude to something, they're never going to tell you exactly what it is. Like this, they're not going to point out that they were all Democrats. You think they want to point that out when they're fully in the back pockets or in the palm of the hand of the Democratic National Convention? Who do you think pushes all the Democrats in the elections? Go next time we have in a couple of years when we have a presidential election, if we ever get that far, and this country doesn't collapse before them, look at all the news organizations pushing the Democrats. Who started the Democratic Party? Okay? Somebody want to give me that information? Who started the Democratic Party? Okay? I mean, seriously. Free America Radio on Facebook. There's a video there from YouTube. It's a YouTube video that I found when I was cruising YouTube, and it said Agenda 21 Explained, full version. It's over an hour long, folks, so later on you can go back and check it out. Also from cuttingedge.org, U.S. patent issued for mind control through HAARP-type electromagnetic waves. I know. Probably some of you were sitting there going, what? U.S. patent issued for mind control through HAARP-type electromagnetic waves connection to school shootings, Part 2. I don't know where Part 1 was, but this is Part 2. Subtitle: we follow up our expose of the convincing pattern of school shootings according to the map of the United States with the revelation that the U.S. Patent Office granted a patent in October of 1992 to protect the profits of the inventor of the technology to effect mind control over large numbers of people at once. Okay? That's up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Check it out, folks. I mean, I talk about anything on this show. Specifically, how our politicians, number one, are being controlled by, who? Can we say the Illuminati, who is controlled by the Freemasons? Oh, by the way, Fritz Springmeier was on the Pete Santilli show. You might want to go over to Guerrilla Media Network and look that one up. And I got to tell you, after hearing what he said, what he talked about, holy crap, the churches are not even safe. Okay? By the way, the Illuminati started all of the religions, or let's put it this way, co-opted all of the religions and are now using them to put forth and disseminate their propaganda. They don't really give a crap what you believe. They're out to kill you. Do you understand me? Can I make it as simple as that? And as I know it's harsh, they're out to kill you. Okay? I know I sound like William Cooper now, huh? Who's going to come SWAT team me? You know what I mean? Let's hope not. But more and more and more people are beginning to wake up. More and more people are just look at the statistics within the last 10 to 15 years. Since the beginning of the George W. Bush regime, people have been leaving churches in droves, just leaving them. Why? Because now they understand. You can believe individually anything you want. That's fine, and that's what our Constitution and Bill of Rights protects you, with. That's that protection until 1871 when the corporations took over. But that's where we're at. We're at a stage at which our corporations are looking at the individual going, we don't need them. We need to collectivize them. We need to round them up in little corrals, and we need to force feed them information we want them to understand and go by. Oh, wait, that's called governmental indoctrination institutes called schools. They've been doing that for years. Don't believe it? Go check it out. I don't tell people what to do. I never have and I never will. But in this instant, I will. I want you to do your homework. Yeah, I know. It's hard. You don't want to accept the facts. You don't want to accept the truth. But you better, because your family and your county and your city and your state and your neighborhood are all at stake. And the liberties and freedoms and security of this nation are in your hands. And if you just want to keep your head up your ass and keep reaching out for all the gimmies from the federal government and from Washington, D.C. and from this administration, then you know what? I hope you enjoy your stay at the FEMA camp. I'm harsh, folks. I have to be. It's reality. The original sin thesis.com. It's on Free America Radio on Facebook. The concept of prisons for profit is wrong because it creates a demand for prisoners. Also from Being Conservative on Facebook, Heartland Institute's photo. Calvin Coolidge, quote, I want the people of America to be able to work less for the government and more for themselves. I want them to have the rewards of their own industry. This is the chief meaning of freedom. Okay? NWOalliance.com. Are you ready for life under total surveillance? Go check that out. Free America Radio and Facebook. Again, from NWOalliance.com. The brain implant may help people walk again. Okay, that's a good thing, really? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check out the articles I got there. Big question for you before the bottom of the hour break is this. Have you no soul? Seriously. You're a parent. You look at your parents. You look at your friends. You look at your coworkers. You look at the people around you that you hang out with sometimes. And you tell them what's going on around them. You tell them about this whole takeover, this whole communist takeover of the United States of America. And they laugh in your face. But have you no soul? Because if you did, you'd get up in their face and say, you know what? You don't believe me? Pay attention. Next time you're out and about, pay attention. And if they still don't believe you and you put the information in front of them with documents and files and articles and all that, and they just like poo-poo the idea and push it away and don't want to listen to you, you know what? Those are the types of people that you just walk away from. Why are you allowing them to bring you down? Have you no soul? The people that will hear you will stand with you and stand guard for all of the information that you have and will defend you with their life. Have you no soul? Which part of society and which part of the group of people do you want to be a part of or speak to? I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've been investigating and researching all this stuff since I was a junior or senior in high school, and I can tell you right now, people are so damn blind, they don't even know what's in front of them. And now that they have a NSA surveillance and tracking system in their hand all the time that they're looking down at and texting somebody through, they ain't seeing crap. Telling you that right now. They don't have a soul. These people that are going around, hey, you know, I got mine right here. My cell phone right here in my hot little hands, but when I go out, anywhere, it's in my pocket. It's where it needs to be. I don't sit there and walk around texting people and not watching where I'm going. That's stupid. Have you no soul? And the people that you care about and the people that you can look in the eye and say, you know what, I really care about you and this is why I'm sharing you this information, those people, even your loved ones, will understand just how important and how serious the situation is. The other people that just laugh at you and walk away, you know, here's what I tell them, and you can tell them this too if you want. Have a nice day. So, it's incredible. I mean, it is. And I understand it. And I don't know. I don't know what goes through the mind of a person that just looks at all this information and just walks away. I've seen people like that, so they don't tell me what goes through their mind. So anyway, folks, I don't know. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email. Email me anything you want, and I shall return right after this. Come join Nick Larson and Brian Keller on Talk for Autism 2.0, a 12-hour internet radio broadcast to raise money for the National Autism Association and spread awareness. This will be the second time the duo have teamed up to raise awareness for autism. Both men have a personal connection to the cause, as both are parents of autistic children. Nick Larson has 2 children with autism, ages 6 years old and 4 years old. Brian Keller has a son with autism that is 9 years old. Talk for Autism has chosen the National Autism Association as the charity to receive the donations raised during the show. The mission of the National Autism Association is to respond to the most urgent needs of the autism community, providing real help and hope that all affected can reach their full potential. Talk for Autism is a 12-hour radiothon, airs April 11th, 2014, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and is scheduled to end April 12th at 1 a.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. Eastern. To listen to the show and to get more information, go to www.talk4autism.com. April 11th is World Autism Awareness Day, and April is Autism Awareness Month.
Nope. Wrong. Yes again.
Hey, folks, how you doing? This is the Views Expressed Live. Thank you very much for listening on this 27th day of March 2014. How you doing? Come to the Spreaker chat if you want to join in the conversation. And if you're over there on Waking Up the Masses on the live broadcast link to the chat room there, hey, why don't you people come on over to the Spreaker side of things? Yes, come on over to the other side. We have cookies. Anyway, I'm just... one of those days, folks. One of those days. So, are you ready for life under total surveillance? AntiNWOAlliance.com. In cyberspace, you can always log off. But if you live in a wired home, there's no escape from big data as it consistently queries our appliances for information on us. Yepper. That's all it says. That's the whole article, folks. Former CIA Director David Petraeus said that every single appliance, every newer appliance will be hooked up to the internet or will have the capability of being hooked up to the internet. Also, if I am correct, it'll be Wi-Fi connected. Your toaster, your refrigerator, you know. Did you know, speaking of which, and I want to make this point because of the technology out there is just so it's technology has exponentially become more and more and more prevalent throughout our society. And the stuff that we saw 20 years ago that was, let's say, the size of a basic, water bottle is now the size of a tiny little, thing the size of the end of a pencil or an eraser. So when former CIA Director David Petraeus says that all your appliances are going to be connected to the internet, yeah, that was hard for me to believe at the time he made that statement. Then I began to see some things that I hadn't noticed. For one, a couple of years ago, I was walking through one of the department stores here in town, and I went to their appliance section because we were looking for a new microwave oven, and I remember seeing a refrigerator, double door, side-by-side refrigerator. Had a screen on the front. Well, that's not too bad. A screen on the front, got all, it's everything, right? Yeah. And then I went to YouTube when I got home, and you can find this on YouTube if you haven't found it already, where the refrigerator with the screens on the front and the RFID chips on the products and the connection to the internet that your refrigerator will have. Think about this, folks. You get low on milk or bread or pickles or something. The refrigerator connects to the internet, tells the local store, hey, this person's out, and next thing you know, you get food delivery to your house. By the way, in Japan, now, in Japan, I know that Fukushima went, belly up and, radiation all over the place, and there's talk that it was not that bad, and it's talk that the radiation is like horrible and about 1,000 times worse than what media is telling you. But I saw on YouTube as well, it was either Japan or China, that in the subway system, they have this, where you wait for the train, they have this wall with what looks like produce. What looks like a grocery aisle at your local store, except it's a picture with little QR codes on there. You take your phone, you boop, 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 get all the QR codes from the foods that you want. By the time you get home, maybe a few minutes after you get home, your food is delivered to your house. Folks, I know there are some of you out there that are saying, hey, that's pretty convenient. Excuse me? Yeah, that's pretty convenient. It is. It really is. But why? Why? Let's extrapolate from there, folks. In San Francisco, in New York, and possibly Las Vegas, Nevada, and San Francisco, California, and Sacramento, possibly, there's these things called micro apartments. Go to startpage.com, punch that in there. I use startpage.com. I would say Google it, but they're, don't. Startpage.com. xquick.com if you want a much safer search. Look up micro apartments. They want to corral you in this little area that says, hey, we're going to build this 13-story building or this 26-story building or this 50-story building, and we're going to have these little micro apartments in there, 250 to 350 square foot little apartments. Okay, not too bad. Convenient. It's right there. Got stores at the bottom and all this. Right? Okay. Let's extrapolate from there, shall we? You're living in one of these 250 to 300 square foot apartments, right? Your refrigerator shows on the screen that you're low on milk, low on pickles, low on butter, low on bread, blah, blah, blah. The bread is, getting close to being expired. The milk, blah, 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 blah. All of a sudden, one day, you're sitting there watching your video monitor on the wall, the flat screen TV, whatever it is, the Roku, whatever it is, right? You get on the door, and voila, your groceries are all right there, and it's all paid for out of your bank account that you had, that's right there. Now, did you give all that information to the store? Did you give all that information to your ISP? Did you give all that financial information to, from your work, whatever? Do you see how this whole thing is transpiring? Do you see what is happening, folks? You got a clue yet? Here, let me give you one other clue. I believe it was Farmington Hills, Michigan, or other parts of the United States of America. Go to startpage.com, punch this in. IntelliStreets. This is also showing up in Sacramento, California, also showing up in San Francisco, possibly in Las Vegas, possibly in Reno, Nevada, where I'm broadcasting from, where your light poles are going to be video monitors with microphones and loudspeakers. By the way, have you noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed this, and I've seen some reports about this as well, where people can be driving down the highway or they can be in a parking lot and there's this big billboard, electronic billboard. Okay, I've seen it. I've heard about it on the freeways. People driving down the freeways, they're driving. They got their radio on a certain station and they get close to this electronic billboard and all of a sudden, it switches on the billboard. The information on the billboard is exactly what is on your radio. I saw the technology for that. You might want to go check on YouTube for that one. Do you understand where we're headed, folks? 1984 by George Orwell was not supposed to be an operations manual, but it is. Have you seen Animal Farm? Aldous Huxley. My whole point is this, folks. The more you give up your soul, the more they have you in the palm of their hand. And they can do with you whatever they want. I've seen artist renderings and computer-generated renderings of multi-story apartment buildings where at certain levels, the 20th floor, maybe the 30th floor, somewhere in there, they have like huge indoor gardens. They have huge indoor recreation areas. They have huge, and it's a multi-level building, but it's apartments. Chances are it was micro apartments, but I didn't get that far. I didn't see that. Do you understand what they're doing to you, folks? Have you been on a farm and watched them corral all the cows in one little place and then send them off to slaughter? Hate to be morbid, but that's the realistic ideal that these New World Order pieces of crap want. They're going to throw you in FEMA camps. They're going to shove you in these cities, in the micro apartments, and they're going to control everything you do, say, everywhere, whatever. It doesn't matter because they are pieces of crap that want nothing but complete and total control of your life in every aspect. Nick Tucker on Distorted Reality talks about this. The bottom line is we're right, and these jackasses that are trying to control us are wrong. Totally wrong. If you don't, now here in Nevada, in Reno, Nevada, where I live, and I'm sure, Nick, down in Las Vegas, you see this, the spillover from California is freaking incredible. These people are dumber than a box of rocks that come over here, and you start telling them about these things, and they'll go, well, that's not happening in California. Well, what have you noticed? Well, I haven't noticed anything. Well, why not? I work too much. Not everybody in California is dumb, okay? They understand what's going on because they have a governor that is absolutely out of his freaking mind. I should know. He was governor before in California. Yeah. He screwed things up then. He's screwing things up now. He's a dumbass. Hell, let's get Arnold Schwarzenegger back in there. Thank you very much. Not that he was any better. But we're getting spillover in Nevada from California, and these people are just, geez. Elevator goes all the way up to the penthouse, but no one's home. You know what I mean? Now, my whole point of all this running off on a tangent and a rant is this. You are responsible for you. You and your family, you and your daughters, you and your sons, you and your work, co-workers, and, you are responsible. Imagine, let me give you a scenario, shall I? You're at work. You're kicking it at work. You're doing your work. You're there. You're plugging away. You're doing everything. And then all of a sudden, you see FBI and Department of Homeland Security people rushing into your, place of business, even if you own the company. And they come in and they start ripping things out. They go to the office. They start hauling files out. They do all that. By the way, it happened to Ares Armor. Okay, go look it up. ARES Armor. They just start taking stuff away. My first thought is, how is my family? What's happening at home? You go to use your cell phone to call your wife, your husband, or whatever, and they take the phone away from you. They don't want you to contact anybody. Yeah, that's an extreme scenario, folks. But it happens every freaking day. You just don't hear it on your state-run CIA media. I got 3 words for you. Lock and load. It's going to come to the point where we're going to look at all of this stuff that's happening to us, and they're going to corral us, I use that term loosely, into this area. Or here's what happened before. If you look back in history, they went, the government, the military-industrial complex in this country will go around to the outside of the city to strategic areas and block off any way out. Now, I know that certain people, certain hosts, talk like this. But I know certain other hosts that don't even want to venture in this direction. They know it's true. They know what is happening. They know that it will happen. But they don't want to talk about it. Why? I don't know. I don't care what company they work for. If they're a radio host and they see this stuff going on, that would be the forum I would use to get the word out to everybody to start getting prepared. Now, I've heard Tom Sullivan over at Fox News talk about stuff like this, talk about, tyranny and dictatorships and all this. Tom Sullivan used to work out in Sacramento, California, as did Rush Limbaugh at some point. And I used to listen to both of them. I used to see Tom Sullivan on KCRA TV out of Sacramento, and I got to tell you something. This guy's smart. He's a financial guy, but this guy knows what's going on. But he works for Fox News. It's a wonder they haven't fired him yet with some of the stuff I've heard him say. Now, I'm glad Rush Limbaugh is saying what he's saying, but see, I know, and I've watched Rush Limbaugh when he had his TV show many years ago, and I remember hearing him on KFBK radio out of Sacramento, California. Let me tell you something. He was holding back then, and he's holding back now. He knows exactly what's going on, but because of what can I say? The position he has in the media, he's not going to say anything. None of their hands are tied. They can say anything they want, but they'll lose their multi-million-dollar a year contract. So I'm sure they know what's going on. I'm sure that at some point they're going to say something. And to hell with their $30 million contracts. Tom Sullivan's in New York. Boy, talk about a police state there. Holy crap. Look at California, police state, all the way up the line. Yes, I can say that. I was born and raised in Stockton, California. I was talking to somebody about Common Core in California. Let me tell you something. This person is totally sold out to Common Core. Communist Core. Bill Gates funded Commie Core. Now Bill Gates wants World Core curriculum. Can you imagine? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But let me put this scenario out. And let me just sum up my thoughts in this fashion. You know that America, the United States of America, that you live, if you're listening to me in England, you could probably relate to this as well. But when you live in the United States of America, you look at other countries and you say, oh man, what are they doing? Where's the that's human rights violations. China does it all day long. You know that the United States of America has a problem when other countries are looking at us going, and we thought we were bad. America is the biggest police state in the world. And it's really bad when Vladimir Putin looks at the U.S. and goes, excuse me? They have more free speech in Russia and in Moscow than we do in the United States. Folks, big problem. Hello. How can another country look at the United States as an example of peace, freedom, and security when we are in the hole, folks? We have been sold out and bought out more times than your freaking mortgage on your house, okay? 1871, the Act of 1871. Thank you, Nick Tucker, for reminding me of that. The Act of 1871. Yes, some people would say, well, it doesn't mean that the corporations took over. Now, you got to read between the lines, folks. Connect the dots. Hello, follow the money. The Rothschilds wrote that up in cooperation with the Rockefellers and some other Illuminati, members, I would suppose, because I haven't read the whole thing. I only touched upon it and read certain areas of it. So I'm going to go back and read the whole thing. That's my homework. I'm going to go back and read the whole thing. So they work together. Right? 40 years later, 39 years later. What's 1871 and 40 years? 1911? In 1910, The Creature of Jekyll Island. Go read that book. They got together on this little island off of the East Coast and said, how are we going to deal with this? What are we going to do? How are we going to make money? It's real simple. The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers of that time decided to look at the president of that time and said, we need to set this up. We want our own bank disconnected from the rest of the country. They didn't quite get what they wanted until 1913. When you had a progressive as a president, President Woodrow Wilson, they went in and said, hey, Prez, this is what we want. And the president went, really? I don't think the people will like it. And they went, you have no choice. And he did it anyway. Signed the Federal Reserve Act and the Internal Revenue Act. Bum, ba, bum. Ever since then, we've been screwed. 1933, the New Deal. That wasn't a New Deal. That was worst piece of crap on the face of the planet at that time. Well, it got us out of the Depression. No, it didn't. You know what got us out of the Depression? From 1929 to, I believe it was 1937, 1938. You know what got us out of the Depression? Entrepreneurial spirit. People getting together and or even of themselves saying, I have to start a business because I got to take care of my family. And that's what got us out of the Depression. You know what else happened during the Depression? Organized crime went right through the roof. Oh, yeah. Sailed right through the roof. The speakeasies, the bars. You remember those? Well, some of you may be old enough to remember. Let me give you a couple of names. Lucky Luciano, Meyer Lansky. Yeah, go down the list. But it was the entrepreneurial spirit, the law-abiding citizen that said, I've had enough of this bull crap that our government's doing. I'm going to do something for myself, and they did. And we can do it again. But have you no soul? Can you stand up on your own 2 feet and say, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do? Are you going to look the beast in the eyes? Are you going to kick his ass if he tries to take care of you in the manner in which he was taught? Oh, believe me. These folks in the White House were taught certain things. I can sum it up before we go to the top of the hour break by saying this. Military-industrial complex. Psychological operations. All of that. But it doesn't stop there, and it didn't start there. It started back in the 1800s. Even prior to that. Albert Pike, a few other people. What connection does the Illuminati and the Freemasons have with organized crime, and how has that affected the United States of America in the last 238 years? You tell me. When I get back from this break, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Check things out, if you would. Check these things out. It's a lot of things that we have to take a look at because they all relate to one another and they all connect to one another in some way, shape, or form, leaving you, the citizen, out of the equation. That is where you take the responsibility upon yourself to defend your freedoms and liberties. And it's time we do that. It's time we look the beast in the eyes and kick its ass. It's up to you. Your family's at stake. Your neighbors are at stake. Your coworkers are at stake. But the freedom and the liberty of this country is at stake. You got the balls to stand up to it? You got the spine? You're going to be spineless little jellyfish that are going to slither up to the side of this creep in the White House. Something you got to think about. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email. And I shall return right after this.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city, killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Clark.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
You saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever.
SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
What are we going to do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
Thriller. No, like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, now, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with, then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
folks, how you doing? This is the Views Express live right here for the 27th of March 2014. Welcome. I'm your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Yes, you can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com if you'd like. Go to freeamericaradio.us, help out Free America Radio Network get to the next level. How y'all doing? Hey, there's some people in the Spreaker chat. There they are. Mr. Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook, distortedreality.podbean.com. And another stranger that hadn't been here in a while, Glenn from Sacramento. Yes, he hadn't been here for a few weeks. Thought you fell off the map there, buddy. Yes. Oh, by the way, I want to give, speaking of Glenn of Sacramento, you reminded me of this, Glenn. Thank you. If you want to check out a really good show, really awesome show, and you can call into the show as well, go check out the Spencer Hughes Show on KSFO.com, 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. Check it out. Go to SpencerHughes.net to check out everything that he talks about as well. Oh, I love my afternoon coffee. Where'd my voice go? God, I'm sounding like Alex Jones here for a minute. Anyway, hey, how you doing? I got a question for you. And anybody in the Spreaker chat room or over in the wakingupthemasses.com chat room can email me with the information. What connection does the Illuminati Freemasons have with organized crime? You know, the type of organized crime that you saw in Goodfellas and Godfather and all that. What connection do they have? I don't know. I'd like to know that from you. I shouldn't say I don't know. I know a little bit about it. I know a whole lot about the organized crime mafia that we know from New York, Philadelphia, Miami, all that, L.A., whole 9 yards. I know about that. I know that they were in Stockton, California for a while. But what connection do each of these groups have? Just putting it out there for you. Just putting it out there for you. Yeah, there we go. Free America Radio on Facebook. Yes. Got a picture up there from United Militia on Facebook. Attention, Patriots. How do you stop an MRAP? If you, well, go look at the picture. You'll find out. Also from United Militia on Facebook, they got a picture up there from the Federal Protective Services Homeland Security Police. Obama has purchased thousands of these DHS vehicles with our money, manned by officers more powerful than local police. Get ready. Things are going to get real interesting very soon. Yes. Scroll back up here. I'm going to talk about something here. Let's see here. I got to scroll down. I missed it. Oh, here it is. Dr. Amos Wilson put up a photo that I'm sharing on Free America Radio on Facebook. A part of the quote-unquote New World Order is to criminalize the third world, because the military-industrial complex is a complex that needs a chronic enemy, because that complex has become so vital to the American economic stability. So, the nation literally has to stay in a permanent war mode. They have been since 1933. Or else it has to undergo drastic reorganization of its socioeconomic and political system. We did that. Consequently, it is literally forced to demonize and criminalize other people as a basic for maintaining its socioeconomic and political system. This is what we mean to say when we say a scapegoat psychology. Dr. Amos Wilson. Yes. Question. What do you consider to be the most what's the word I'm looking for? Devastating part of this regime? Focus on that. Now, before the break, if you were joining me in the first hour, I talked about other countries looking at us as the biggest police state in the world. And I've always asked this question is, why don't people get out in the streets and protest? Why don't people do what they have to do to get out and to demand our leaders listen to us? Well, why don't we see this? This is a good question, isn't it? But over in Russia, a communist nation, 70,000 Russians march against the war with Ukraine in Moscow today. The photo came from i.imgur.com. Now, I don't know if that's the official photo of the 70,000 marching or protesting in Russia at this point, but it gives you an idea. I wrote below that picture, when are the people here going to get out in the streets and protest, march, and demand of all of our so-called leaders that we should demand of our so-called leaders to do what we want them to do. They work for us, don't they? Oh, wait, no, they don't. They work for the corporations that control this country. Research the Act of 1871. You have no choice. Stand up. This is your country. What are you doing to it? It's a good question, isn't it? From thedailycaller.com. Let's go to thedailycaller.com, shall we? The Southern Poverty Law Center, FBI, severs ties with liberal domestic terrorism inspiring Southern Poverty Law Center. Katie McHugh wrote this. Thank you, Katie. Federal Bureau of Investigations removed links to the Southern Poverty Law Center from the Civil Rights Division web page last week, breaking ties with the group that inspired a would-be mass shooter with its hate map. The SPLC and the Anti-Defamation League, an outfit dedicated to fighting anti-Semitism, are no longer identified on the FBI's hate crimes page as partners. Quote, upon review, the Civil Rights Program only provides links to resources within the federal government, unquote. An FBI spokesman told the Daily Caller, quote, while we appreciate the tremendous support we receive from a variety of organizations, we have elected not to identify those groups on the Civil Rights page, unquote. But the ADL is furious. The FBI reportedly did not inform the group they plan to cancel their affiliation. Isn't that lovely? Quote, we are shocked and surprised and disappointed that this would be done without any consultation with groups such as ours who have been working closely with the FBI on issues of hate crime. We look forward to having further conversations with them on this issue. Abraham H. Foxman, go look him up, startpage.com. Abraham H. Foxman, just like it sounds, the national director of the ADL. The SPLC has a torrid relationship with the domestic terrorism it claims to condemn. Back in 2012, 28-year-old Floyd Corkins II used the SPLC's hate map, which lists groups ranging from the Ku Klux Klan to pro-traditional marriage nonprofits as quote-unquote active hate groups, to locate the Family Research Council based in Washington, D.C., armed with 100 rounds of ammunition and 15 Dick Fila sandwiches. He planned to, quote, smother the faces, unquote, of his victims. Corkins ended shooting up FRC's lobby and wounding a security guard. He was subdued by the wounded security guard and arrested before he could claim any lives, and charged with 3 felonies: committing an act of terrorism while armed, assault with intent to kill, and transporting a firearm over state lines. During an FBI interrogation, the blasé Corkins told agents he wanted to, quote, kill as many people as possible, unquote, and move on to another massacre at another organization on his list, which prosecutors declined to release. Related Report, suspected Family Research Council, gunman volunteered at LGBT Center. Quote, it was Southern Poverty Law lists, anti-gay groups. I found them online, did a little research, went to the website, stuff like that, unquote, Corkins said, according to released FBI footage. Corkins was later sentenced to 25 years in prison. The SPLC did not take down their hate map and their designation of FRC as a hate group after Corkins used it to commit terrorism. It's still listed as active in D.C. A long online description sneers at FRC's anti-gay crusade and most notably, declines to condemn Corkins with the same virulence. In fact, it doesn't condemn Corkins at all, but merely quotes Corkins' attorney's allegations that his client was mentally ill. For its part, FRC approves of FBI's move to sever ties with the unrepentant SPLC. Quote, any association between the federal government and entity that is connected in federal court to domestic terrorism should be a no-brainer. It just shouldn't happen, unquote, said FRC's Executive Vice President, Lieutenant General retired Jerry Boykin, in a statement provided to the D.C. Daily Caller. Quote, last year, the U.S. Secretary of the Army described the Southern Poverty Law Center's hate labeling of Christian groups as, quote, inaccurate, objectionable, and otherwise inconsistent with current Army policy, unquote. We agree. We once again call on the SPLC to stop demonizing pro-family organizations simply because we stand for different values, unquote. The SPLC did not return multiple requests for comment by press time. Now, big, huge, massive question. Isn't the SPLC a hate group? If they put up stuff that really puts down or labels any other group as a hate group, primarily Christian groups or conservatives, don't you think that's a hate group? You know what I'm saying? The SPLC needs to go away now. Bye-bye. All of their attorneys need to be... they need their law license taken away from them. That's only my opinion, folks. Just my opinion. Don't start throwing stuff at your computer screen or yelling. I believe any group... I don't care if it's an individual either, but any group that looks at another group and says, if they don't believe what we believe, then they're this and they're that, and they need to be, blah. You know how it goes, right? Then we shouldn't have the Muslim Brotherhood in Washington, D.C., should we? Kentucky and several other states in the United States have banned any Muslim Brotherhood or any Muslim from being a part of that state government, including implementing Sharia law. Isn't it time we do the same thing to Washington, D.C.? Well, how do you know there's Muslim Brotherhood people there? The Advisory Council of the Department of Homeland Security, Barack Obama put this person in this position, and they, let him be in that position. They allowed it. And he is and makes no bones about it, he is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know. I gotta laugh. I gotta reset my brain, because to me, when you have a group of people promoted by the President of the United States and put in prominent positions of our security of the nation, don't you think there's something wrong with that? Hello? You got a clue yet, folks? Do you have a clue? If not, let me give you one. The president is not a citizen of the United States of America. Several attorneys, both working for the federal government and those working for Sheriff Joe Arpaio, have said that the birth certificate on the website is phony. Big fat zero. It is phony. Yes, go back to the birth certificate. Let me go here now. When you look at this government, when you look at Washington, D.C., one thing stands out, doesn't it? And it's been in all the pictures where President Obama has been pictured, right? With the flag. What is he not doing? Hello? There was a picture out, speaking of pictures, there was a picture out of several presidents standing in the press conference that they have, and there were American flags around there. Why isn't there American flags in the press room when he goes into it? Just kind of curious. Is President Obama's presidential library going to be part library and part mosque? I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, God, now you're getting in, you're bashing religions. No, I'm not. I'm telling you the facts, folks. Telling you the facts. What did he say to the Pope? He just met the Pope. What did he say? What did he give them? What did the Pope give the president? Hello? They're both controlled, folks. The Pope controls the religious aspects of every single religion on the face of the planet. Illuminati, Freemasons, go check it out. Yes, go connect the dots. Go, check all that out. So here we have the President of the United States going and talking with the Pope. What did the Pope tell him? What did the President tell the Pope? And why did they meet? What? Just wanted to jump on Air Force One and go have a photo op? Folks, behind the scenes, things are happening that, well, fortunately for myself and Nick Tucker and a bunch of other alternative media people, we're finding stuff out going on behind the scenes, and we're telling you about it. Unless you're too brainwashed by Fox, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, and all of that, then if, I'm throwing this out here, just putting it out here, just laying it out on the table. If there are people out there that would believe MSNBC over any alternative media personality or anybody that is in the alternative media, if you would rather believe the state-run media, bye, have a nice day. But if you want the truth and the facts, you better start listening to the alternative media. And I don't care if you like them, don't like them, whatever. You disagree with them, fine. I don't agree with everything Glenn Beck says or Alex Jones says or Pete Santilli says or Michael Savage or any number of those people. There are some things I just don't agree with initially. But they all say the same thing. I say it, Nick Tucker says it, other people say it. I'm sure Bob Brutus over at Waking Up the Masses, Kicking the Capstone says it. Check this information out for yourself. You don't have to believe anything I'm saying. I just hope I'm saying enough to encourage you to go check it out. Because I'm not twisting your arm. You got to check it out yourself. I don't know, folks. You're going to do what you're going to do. You're going to believe what you want to believe. You're only going to accept what you believe is rational in your own mind. I'm talking to those folks who are totally sold out to the state-run media. And you're just going to enjoy your day. Okay. Well, how about opening your mind up to the possibility that you could be wrong, and those people that you're watching on those channels of those state-run media propaganda channels are wrong? Why not just open your mind up to that? And I say it too. Hey, there's some stuff I talk about I could be wrong about. I'm okay with that. You want to share with me some stuff I may have missed? I'm okay with that. Okay? Because I look at the possibilities that are beyond. And that's one of the things about Free America Radio Network and the Views Expressed Live. I tear away the veil, showing you who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, sharing with you the truth one fact at a time. And guess what? If I ain't got all the facts, I ain't going to tell you. Or if I tell you something and I find something else out, then I'll come back and say, hey, I talked about this, and here's some additional information related to that. Hello? Makes sense to me. Holy crap. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. What is social justice? Social justice is a term you hear almost every day, but did you ever hear anyone define what it actually means? Jonah Goldberg of the American Enterprise Institute tries to pin this catch-all phrase to the wall. In doing so, he exposes the not-so-hidden agenda of those who use it. What sounds so caring and noble turns out to be something very different. Yeah. Hey, folks, before we go to the bottom of the hour break, because my clock says I'm almost there, let me just take a few minutes out and say this. Kathleen Sebelius needs to be arrested. Yeah, there's a little thing on Free America Radio on Facebook from Herman Cain, former presidential candidate, and it's a picture from CainTV.com. New Obama extension is not an extension, it's just an extension. Yeah, I tried to figure that one out too, folks. Yeah, Dianne Feinstein, she is oh my God. I'm trying to hold back. She says, and I quote, by the way, I want your take. If you're in the Spreaker chat, or if you're, please give me your take on what I'm about to say here. And if you're on wakingupthemasses.com, email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com and tell me your take on what she says here. Quote, freedom of speech is a privilege intended for the educated professionals. It should be illegal for a high school dropout to promote anti-government propaganda on his $5 blog if he cannot properly verify his statements. That was, she said that about the fact that bloggers like myself and others aren't journalists and shouldn't be listened to because they're not getting paid to do what they do. Do you see how frustrating it is? Seriously? Oh my God. I shall return right after this.
Is he a conservative liberal? Or is he a liberal conservative? You decide. You're listening to The Views Expressed with Reverend Wayne S. Pierce.
What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com. Listen to Crash Talk with your host, Christopher John Taylor, on HTLA973.com.
Misfit is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene. Destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 515 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And Southnet 1.
Take the last train to Foxville. See them moving run. He's leaving. On that midnight train to Georgia.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
If you're into liberty and libertarian values, tune in to The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, at radiofreedom.us.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Around the planet on the World Wide Web.
The storm is on the horizon. The system of government that we currently have in this country is collapsing. We are on the brink of total disaster as a nation, a people, and a planet. Who or what can save us? Listen to The Views Expressed live, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, at freeamericaradio.us. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Express Live. And yes, you can catch me Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. Broadcasting on Spreaker.com, freeamericaradio.us, and wakingupthemasses.com. So, hello, Bob Brutus. Anyway, go check out Bob Brutus's show, Kicking the Capstone. Yes, awesome show. Holy crap. I say that because it's... by the end of the show, your brain will just be so filled with information. You'll be sitting there going, wow. Just, yeah, it's a great show. Go check out also distortedreality.podbean.com. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. Check it out. Awesome show. Oh, man. It's... where do you begin, folks? Where do you begin trying to decipher what is coming off of your state-run media? Where do you begin? Is there even a starting point? Hey, before the break, I talked about a little bit about the Obama's birth certificate. Brian Lang from Live Truth Radio put up this video. You might want to go check it out on Free America Radio on Facebook. It says Obama's birth certificate, CBS News, fake, confirmed. So, just something to check out. From anti-NWOalliance.com, there's a picture up there of a whole bunch of movies that you may have seen. And the meme of the picture says, simple-minded people call these movies. Self-educated people call it propaganda. Yeah, folks, that's exactly what it is because it's all out in your face. It's all there. It's all, they're not hiding it anymore, folks. They're not. They're not hiding it anymore. From Village Green Network on Facebook, deaths during a 10-year period. Deaths due to FDA-approved prescription drugs, 1,060,000 people. Deaths due to USDA-approved foods. Produce, 3,330. Poultry, 2,780. Pork, 820. Fish, 710. Beef, 550. Deaths due to unapproved raw milk. Zip. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Zero. Source, CDC. Okay? You like raw milk? Go for it. Find it somewhere. Lots of things going on, folks. I'm going to highlight one of the articles I talked about yesterday in the last few minutes of the show. And I'm going to thank everybody in the Spreaker chat for showing up. Hey, Nick and Glenn, how you doing? Yeah. From Dissenter, DISSENTR, dissenter.firedoglake.com. Local law enforcement act like CIA, abuse public records laws to conceal stingray surveillance. I read this yesterday. Basically, a stingray surveillance device is, according to the Electronic Privacy Information Center, a device that, quote, can triangulate the source of a cellular signal by acting like a fake cell phone tower and measuring a signal strength of an identified device from several locations, unquote. The ACLU considers the technology to be, quote, electronic equivalent to dragnet general searches prohibited by the Fourth Amendment, unquote. There is very little case law to properly limit law enforcement use. Yes. Stingrays are capable of stealing cell phone data, according to journalist Ryan Gallagher. The Stingray can be covertly set up virtually anywhere, in the back of a vehicle, for instance, and can be used over a targeted radius to collect hundreds of unique phone identifying codes, such as the international mobile subscriber number and the electronic serial number. The authorities can then home in on specific phones of interest to monitor the location of the user in real time, or use the spy tool to log a record of all phones in a targeted area at a particular time, unquote. That's from Ray Gallagher. He's a journalist. Now, what is the international mobile subscriber number? What is that? Well, let's go find out and check, shall we? Because that's interesting. Okay? That's very interesting. Now, I was going to go to Wikipedia, but I think I'll go to princeton.edu. A little more credible, don't you think? What's the IMSI? It's a unique identification associated with GSM and UMTS network mobile phone users. It is stored as a 64-bit field in the SIM card, in the SIM inside the phone, and is sent by the phone to the network. It is also used for acquiring other details of the mobile in the home location register, HLR. Go to startpage.com, punch that in there. Or as locally copied in the visitor location register to prevent eavesdroppers identifying and tracking the subscriber on the radio interface. The IMSI is sent as rarely as possible, and randomly generated TMSI is sent instead. What does all that mean in meat and potatoes terms, layman terms? You got your cell phone, folks? You got your cell phone? Because I got mine right here in my hands. Have you ever been just sitting there Just, sitting there looking at your cell phone and have that little green light on your cell phone start blinking or come on solid for a little while and then go away. Hello, TMSI. That's the signal coming to your phone or leaving your phone going, I'm over here. By the way, got your phone on you? Pull out your phone. Go ahead, pull out your phone. Or if you got it nearby, go ahead. Go to System Settings. I'm doing this now, folks. I'm walking you through it, okay? If you're on the Android, I don't know what it is on the iPhone. Glenn, do you have an iPhone? Glenn's in the Spreaker chat. I don't know what it is on the iPhone, but on the Android-operated phones, it's called Location Services. Click on that. What do you see? On the Android-operated phones, it's Google's location service, GPS satellite, and location and Google search. They're all checked. That is only one way that they track you. If you go to your Google Maps on your Android-operated phones, or maybe on the Windows phone or the iPhone, if you go to the maps and you look and you see a little blue dot, that's you. Yeah, why don't you hop in a car with a friend of yours or your loved one and drive around town for a little bit and watch how it follows you. Folks, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're being tracked, hacked, and smacked. I use that because we're being smacked upside the head because, these people just don't know. I do. Nick Tucker is in the Spreaker chat, so hello, Nick. How you doing? So is Glenn from Sacramento. Dudes, virtual high five to both of you. Check this out from Mark Dice. Now, like I said earlier, I don't always agree with everybody. Some of the stuff people say I can be right on with. Yes, I agree, but they'll say something later, and I don't know. Kind of iffy about that. I don't always agree with people. That's okay. We have a right not to agree, do we not? Oh, there we go. This I can understand, and I totally agree with Mark Dice on this one. There's a video on Free America Radio on Facebook. Johnny Depp introduces transhumanism to the mainstream with Transcendence film. Go to www.2045.com. Go check that out. Matter of fact, I will go there. www.2045.com. Yes. A review of the Second International Global Future 2045 Congress in New York City. Let's look under the ideology tab, shall we? Strategic Social Initiative. The path to neo-humanity is the foundation of the ideology of the Evolution 2045 Party. The world will become the way that we plan it to be. For the swift implementation of the necessary transformations, we must bring together as many enthusiasts as possible, linked by a common vision of the future and ready to serve a great idea. Existing scientific achievements and reserves are sufficient to start putting this plan into practice. The great goal is a new futuristic reality based on 5 principles: high spirituality, high culture, high ethics, high science, and high technologies. Founded by Russian entrepreneur Dmitry Itskov in February of 2011 with the participation of leading Russian scientists in the field of neural interfaces, robotics, artificial organs and systems. The main goals of the 2045 initiative, the creation and realization of a new strategy for the development of humanity which meets global civilization challenges, the creation of optimal conditions promoting the spiritual enlightenment of humanity, and the realization of new futuristic reality based on 5 principles that I mentioned before: high spirituality, high culture, high ethics, high science, and high technologies. The main science mega project of the 2045 initiative aims to create technologies enabling the transfer of an individual's personality to a more advanced non-biological carrier and extending life, including to the point of immortality. We devote particular attention to enabling the fullest possible dialogue between the world's major spiritual traditions, science, and society. I'm going to put that in the Free America Radio Facebook page. I wanted to save that to last because I wanted you all to know where these no words can describe these people. It's up. Free America Radio on Facebook. Check it out. This is what David Rockefeller talked about. This is what Ray Kurzweil talks about. This is what a lot of people talk about. And now Johnny Depp, who I respect as an actor, you know, Captain Jack Sparrow. And I've seen him in other movies. Now he's talking about this. Does he believe it? Or does his handlers say, you're going to do this movie because we want you to be the spokesperson for this? I talked about a little bit about some stuff in the first hour of the program. Let me